is why we say don't do it. If the guy is young, if he is still in his power and youth, we tell him, if you're afraid that this may lead to something a little bit more serious, no, then do not kiss, do not hug, do not fondle your wife. While fasting, that is, not after fasting. But if a person is capable of holding himself from getting into intercourse, then it is permissible. And the evidence behind that is the hadith narrated by Aisha, may Allah be pleased with her, the wife of the Prophet ﷺ. She said that the Prophet ﷺ used to kiss and fondle his wife while he was fasting. But he was the one among you who had most control over his sexual desire. So this tells us that as long as you can control yourself, go ahead and do it. It's something that it is sunnah. The Prophet did it, alayhi salatu wasalam. Some of us, unfortunately, are so hard, they have hearts of stone. They would not fondle their wives. They would not kiss their wives. They would not be intimate and kind to their wives, thinking that we should be as far apart from each other until there is something we want from each other. No, this is wrong. The Prophet ﷺ used to kiss his wives before going to prayer without performing ablution, without making wudu, which means that kissing your wife, touching your wife, is permissible and it's commendable without performing ablution for prayer. Now, there is another hadith where one of the companions asked the Prophet ﷺ, is kissing my wife permissible? Does it affect my fasting? So the Prophet ﷺ said, does rinsing your mouth, madmada, does rinsing your mouth, does turning the water in your mouth affect your fasting? So he said, no. So it's likewise. It doesn't. Because nothing went into your stomach from rinsing your mouth. And the same thing, nothing happened after kissing your wife. Now, some scholars say, no, you should not kiss, you should not fondle your wife. And why is that? Because they say that probably madhi would be emitted. And if madhi is emitted, then this may affect your fasting. Some scholars say, no, it breaks your fasting. It nullifies your fasting. But again, this opinion is not that authentic, simply because the Prophet ﷺ did it. And as long as the Prophet did it ﷺ, then it is permissible for us to do it, unless you are afraid that it would lead into intercourse. Any more question?
Your Eminence, I heard such terms like madhi and wadi. Would you please tell us the difference between them?
Madhi, M-A-T-H-I, madhi. And we have wadi, W-A-D-I. And we have mani, M-A-N-N-I, or one N. These are three terminologies used to describe the things that come out of the private parts of males and females. And they are usually connected, not all of them, but for example, many means semen. And both males and females have semen, but it differ in color and in actual thing. It's different in properties, in color and properties. Semen, as we know, is emitted after sexual intercourse, after having this sexual passion. And this calls for a total bath. If it is emitted, one should have the obligatory or total bath. You cannot pray, you cannot read the Coran, you cannot perform Umrah, or you have to have this sexual purity. Because if it is emitted, you are sexually impure. And you have to perform this total an obligatory bath. This, the emission of semen has two properties to it that makes it nullifies your fasting, and also makes you in a state of sexual impurity, providing it comes out with accompanied with passion, with lust, with desire, and providing that it comes out in a pumping way. It pumps out. It does not come smoothly. It comes with a pumping action or something like that sort. So this is mani. Mani itself is pure. The substance itself is pure because it is the origin of mankind. That is why it's pure. But by emitting it, one should have this obligatory total bath. Now, madhi is a white, thin substance that comes out of men and female because of sexual desire. So if one fondles, if one kisses his wife, if he sees something that he desires sexually, that is, this liquid comes out in the form of 2-3 drops of him. This does not call for total bath, but it is impure. He should clean himself and the spots that touched his clothes. He should wash it, and he should perform wudu. He should perform ablution whenever he wants to pray, because it nullifies his wudu. It nullifies his ablution. But it does not nullify his fasting. The fasting is as it is. Now, wadi is the third thing. It's a yellowish, thin, and sometimes a little bit thick drops of liquid that usually comes after urinating. When somebody urinates, it comes at the very end. And usually it comes when the weather is too cold. It comes unintentionally. When it's too cold, it's freezing. Or when someone carries a very heavy load. It comes out of him. Again, it does not call for total bath, obligatory bath, but it does call for washing it to clean it and for ablution. I hope this answers your question. Any more questions, please? Yes, sir.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Why does women's period break fast?
Why does women period break their fast, nullifies their fast? Well, actually, one woman came to Aisha, the wife of the Prophet ﷺ, and she asked her a similar question. She told her, why do women make up for their fasting when they have, after they are their monthly period is over, and they don't make up for their prayer? So Mother Aisha was annoyed with her, and she was a little bit harsh talking to her, and she told her that you should believe in what the Prophet ﷺ told us. This is the way that he taught us. He told us if a woman is clean and her menstruation is over, she should make up for the days she did not fast. But he never told us to make up for the prayers that she skipped. This is a ruling from Allah Azza wa Jal. So one could make a lot of justifications, but they do not hit the point. We can't say for sure that this is why Allah Azza wa Jal told women not to make up for the prayer. Yet this is the ruling of Allah. We should accept it. We don't have to ask for the wisdom behind every single thing, because definitely we're not going to reach that level of knowing the wisdom. We should just fulfill Allah's orders. Allah told her that this breaks your fast, then it breaks her fast. I think this is all the time we have for today's lesson, until we meet inshallah next time. Fi amanillah. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.